What's going on, people? Dom here from Lensprotogo and Lens Rentals. Welcome back to the channel. So what am I splashing into the studio here with today? So that would be the Canon C500 Mark II, and attached to the Canon C500 Mark II, one of these awesome Vespid Primes from DZOFilm. This little setup looks familiar. That's because last week I was just doing some tests with those 1.6x full frame anamorphics from Sure, which were really neat, and I hope you got a decent idea of what that lens set is like, even though I wasn't able to test the 100 and 135 from that set. And speaking of incomplete lens sets, I have 4 of these Vespid Primes from DZOFilm today, and that doesn't even represent half of the set. There are so many of these. Today we're going to be testing out the 25, 35, 50, and 75, but this set in its entirety features a 16, a 21, a 40, a 90, a 100, and a 125. But even given that, I think you're still going to get a fine idea of this lens set here, where 25 is decently wide and going all the way up to 75. That's decently tight, but it would have been really neat to try that 16mm or anything above like 100mm. That would have been really neat. Maybe I'll try to grab those focal lengths that I didn't do in this video for part 2 down the line. I did test those 2 Vespid Zoom lenses a while back, which I was really impressed with. Optical quality, price, build. Those are 2 just very good value cinema zoom lenses, and I recommend them all the time. So anyways, what does that mean for today? We're just gonna roll some super basic like sharpness, distortion, bokeh tests here in the studio. For that, I'm gonna give you a super brief physical overview of these at least 4 lenses I have in front of me, and then we're gonna wrap it up, and that's gonna be it. So we all have places to be, things to do, lives to live, but not without rolling some video on these full frame cinema primes from DZOFilm, am I right? But before that, like I said, super quick overview on these, at least these 4 lenses I have in front of me here. But you could just use your imagination or the internet like everyone else does. Try to get an idea of the focal lengths I don't have with me. And if you did go online to DZOFilm's website on these lenses product page, if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, they have this large graph that charts out all the parameters from focal length to focal length here. So definitely check that out. But what I got from that chart, as for the consistencies for these 4 lenses anyways, they're all offered an EF or PL mount. They are all full frame coverage primes, although they're really making it a point to advertise the VistaVision coverage. Regardless of what you want to call it, every lens in this set illuminates a 46.5mm image circle. These 4 lenses in this set offer a maximum aperture of T2.1, nice and fast, and also every lens in this set's iris is constructed with a 16 blade diaphragm. That's a really nice point of design there. We're going to see how that comes into effect when we roll some bokeh tests with these lenses. All these lenses have pretty decent close focus too. The 25 and 30mm are going to close focus at just under 1 foot, where the 50 is roughly 1.5 feet, like 18 inches, and the 75 is just under 2 feet. For the size and form factor, I think that these primes are delightfully compact. They're all roughly 3.5 to 4.5 inches long, this 25 being the longest I have with me and this 35 being the shortest. Just about an inch difference there. That's really all there is ever going to be. And more importantly, every lens in this set has an identical barrel diameter of 80mm, and that's flush and straight across the whole end of the barrel there. And then also really nice, each one of these primes has a 77mm front thread. And even more importantly, but something that is just kind of expected, but from focal length to focal length, each lens's gears are going to line up in the same place in relation to the lens mount. Now, those past couple things I just mentioned are super important for swapping lenses on a really built-out camera rig. You're using a matte box that clamps onto the barrel. That's 80mm accessory across the entire set. You're using threaded filters on these lenses. That's a 77mm screw-on thread for every single one of these lenses. This lens is on a really built-up rig with focus motors on the rails. When you switch from the 25 to the 75, those focus and iris gears are going to line up in the exact same place, and with the exception of the 90mm, are going to have identical focus throws. So that's 270mm for the focus. That 90 is kind of an oddball out, being the one with the macro capabilities. So a lot of uniformity and consistency. Really impressive how DZOFilm is able to keep those numbers so consistent throughout this whole set, especially a lens set with like 9 lenses or whatever it is. So now is the part of the video where I stop talking. We're gonna roll some of these studio tests in here. I'm pretty much gonna start with this resolution chart behind me. We're gonna check out sharpness at a couple different aperture values. We're gonna pan across that chart and look for all sorts of types of distortion. We're gonna shoot these lenses at close focus on the focus checker. We're gonna do some fun bokeh tests. It's gonna be tight. And this right here, right now, is gonna be the outro to this video. Right after this, we're just gonna leave you in footage land. So as always, if you have any questions about any of these lenses you saw in this video or any of the lenses I was not able to test today, you know what to do. Drop a comment in the comment section below and we'll start a discussion. Hot coffee's hot. Also, if you happen to enjoy this video or find it helpful, you could do something really helpful by hitting that like button underneath this video. That's going to let me know, and more importantly, it's gonna let YouTube know that you liked this content. But if you didn't do any of that, what you could do is subscribe to the channel and join the growing pool of over 100,000 of you people. You can also go ahead and hit that little bell button that's next to the subscribe button. That will keep you in the loop whenever we post new content, which is every week. So with all that out of the way, people, it's prime time.